Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're looking at VREDU.
VREDU.
Yeah, this startup that wants to completely change education using VR.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
We've got their business plan.
Cool.
And it's really interesting stuff actually.
What is it about them that's so interesting?
Well, for one thing, they're launching in Finland.
Finland. Interesting choice.
Yeah, and Finland's always at the top when it comes to education systems around the world, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Always up there. Plus they're really tech savvy over there.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like a smart move, right?
Yeah.
But get this. The team behind VREDU,
Yeah.
they're Turkish.
Oh wow.
So it's this cool mix of top-notch education know-how and serious tech innovation.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of potential there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really shows they're thinking big, not just focused on
Global.
Global, exactly.
Yeah.
They're looking at this worldwide problem,
What's that?
Education systems struggling to keep up.
Ah, yeah, especially after the pandemic.
Exactly. Their plan actually mentions that in Finland alone.
Oh, really?
Something like 135,000 to 150,000 kids had their education set back because of it.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is. Yeah, it's a serious issue.
Yeah. It makes you think,
Yeah.
video calls were okay for a while,
Right.
but they just couldn't really replace being in a classroom.
No, not at all.
And that's where VREDU comes in, right?
That's what they're aiming for, trying to fill that gap.
But they're not just recreating classrooms in VR, are they?
No, they're going way beyond that.
More like full-on experiences.
Exactly. They're talking about immersive, realistic experiences, really tapping into what VR can do.
Yeah, to make learning more engaging.
Engaging and effective.
Yeah.
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 Imagine a medical student, right?
Oh,
Instead of just reading about the heart in a textbook,
yeah.
they can put on a VR headset,
Okay.
and they're exploring a beating 3D heart,
Whoa.
zooming in to see the valves working, maybe even practicing virtual surgeries.
That's incredible.
It's taking learning to a whole new level.
For sure. And it's not just for school, right?
No, not at all. They see potential for corporate training,
Oh, yeah.
professional development, even just for hobbies. People getting hands-on in these virtual environments.
I love that.
It's pretty cool.
So they've got this wide appeal. They're
Yeah.
tackling a global issue.
Yeah,
And they've got this awesome mix of expertise.
definitely sounds promising.
It does. But, they're not the only ones in this VR education game.
Oh, right. Yeah,
It's getting crowded out there.
it is.
So what makes VREDU different? What's their edge?
Well, one thing that stands out is how they approach accessibility.
Okay. How's that?
So instead of the usual software licensing model,
Yeah.
they're going for a Netflix-style membership.
Oh, interesting.
So you pay a monthly fee,
Uh-huh.
and you get access to their whole library of VR learning experiences.
I love that. It's like making high-quality education available to everyone.
Exactly. It could be a game changer for schools on tight budgets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or for people who just want to learn new things without spending a ton of money.
Exactly. Plus, it ties into their data-driven approach.
Data-driven.
Yeah, by gathering user data, they can constantly tweak the platform,
So they can tailor the content and the experiences.
to meet specific needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it data optimization.
Right.
And it even helps ensure the platform runs smoothly on slower internet connections.
So it's good for the users and for VREDU.
Win-win.
Users get affordable access, and VREDU gets valuable feedback.
To make things even better. Exactly. It's all coming together.
And don't forget about the team.
Oh, yeah, the people behind it all.
They've got entrepreneurs, educators, tech experts, all working together.
That's a powerful combo.
It is. They understand not just the tech side.
But the business side, too.
They've got a strategic vision, a clear understanding of the market,
Yeah.
a solid plan for growth.
This is impressive stuff.
It is. But wait, there's more.
More.
They're not stopping at VR. They're talking about adding extended reality XR into the mix.
XR. Now that's next level. Yeah. XR, think of it as immersive experiences on steroids.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's not just sight and sound. We're talking about incorporating smell, temperature, even touch.
Hold on, smell and touch. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? But the tech is getting there.
How is that even possible?
It's still early days, but it's evolving fast. Imagine exploring the Amazon rainforest in XR.
Okay. Yeah.
You could feel the humidity, smell the damp earth, even reach out and touch a leaf.
Wow, that would be insane.
It would. Like a virtual field trip to another world.
But honestly, is all that sensory stuff even doable right now?
It's a big challenge.
And what about the downsides of creating these super realistic virtual environments? Like, are there any?
Well, there are definitely hurdles to overcome. They admit that in their plan, they're not naive about the challenges.
Like what kind of challenges?
Well, one of the biggest is accessibility.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not everyone has super fast internet or a VR headset.
Exactly. Especially in underserved communities.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
VR education can't just be for the privileged few,
It can't. It has to be for everyone.
regardless of their background.
Exactly.
And it's not just about the hardware either, right?
No, you're right.
There's also digital literacy.
Yeah. Not everyone is comfortable with tech.
Some people might get motion sickness in VR too.
You're right. It's about more than just handing them the technology.
We need to support the training, the infrastructure.
Yeah, to make VR learning truly inclusive.
If we don't do that, we risk making the digital divide even worse.
A new digital divide.
Exactly.
That's a risk VREDU is aware of.
So what are they doing about it?
They're looking at things like subsidized access programs
Okay.
and partnerships to make their platform available to more people.
That's good.
They're also big on data optimization, making sure their platform works even on slower internet connections.
So they're trying to make it work for everyone.
They are. It's a good approach.
But this is bigger than just one company, right?
It is. It's a societal issue.
We all have a role to play in this. Governments, educators, tech companies, everyone.
We need to think about VR literacy as a basic skill for the future.
I like that VR literacy. We need to prepare everyone for this new world.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about access and the digital divide. But what about the teaching side of things? How do we design good VR learning?
That's the big question, right?
It's not just about putting on a headset and hoping for the best.
No, definitely not. There's a whole teaching aspect to figure out.
Like, how do you even test what someone's learned in VR?
Exactly. And how do you get students to work together in VR?
And how do you keep them focused?
So many questions. It seems like we need a whole new set of tools and strategies for teaching in VR.
What about training for teachers? How do we get them ready for this?
That's key. We need special programs just for VR education.
To help teachers not just understand the technology, but really use it well in their classrooms.
Exactly. It's a huge challenge, but so exciting.
Yeah, we're basically reimagining what education can be.
We are, and VREBU gets that.
They're thinking about the whole experience, not just the technology.
Yeah, they talk about creating high-quality, engaging content that matches up with educational standards.
So they're not just tech people, they're bringing in real educational expertise.
They are.
Which is great, but let's be real, this is a business.
Right.
They need a plan to make money.
And that's where their business smarts really shine.
Oh, yeah.
Their plan is super clear. Revenue projections, market analysis, intellectual property protection. They're not messing around.
Sounds like they've done their homework.
They have. Their revenue projections are impressive.
That's a good sign.
It is. They seem confident about attracting users and making money.
And it's not just about profits either, right?
You're right. They really emphasize social responsibility.
Yeah, how so?
They talk about promoting educational equality,
Okay.
minimizing their environmental impact, supporting nonprofits.
That's awesome. They're trying to make a positive impact.
They are. It's refreshing to see.
It is. It shows they're not just trying to disrupt an industry.
Right.
They're trying to make the world a better place.
Which is something a lot of people care about these days.
Especially younger generations.
Exactly. So we've talked about the challenges, the teaching side, their business plan, their values. But what about their specific plans for growth? How do they see the future?
Well, partnerships are a big part of their strategy.
Okay.
They want to team up with schools, corporations, even governments to expand their reach.
It makes sense. Working with established players helps them scale up faster.
For sure. And they're not limiting themselves geographically either.
Global domination.
Global impact. They see a global market for their platform.
It's ambitious.
It is. But they seem to have the team and the strategy to make it happen.
It's a fast-moving landscape, though. There's always a risk of falling behind.
True, but they're committed to research and development.
Okay, so they're constantly improving their platform.
Exactly. Adding new features, exploring new technology.
Staying ahead of the curve. They even mentioned AI personalized learning.
It sounds like they're all about continuous innovation.
Which is essential in this field.
So they're not just building a product, you're building a platform that can evolve.
Adapt to the changing needs of learners.
Exactly.
And they're being smart about protecting their ideas.
Oh, right. Intellectual property.
Yeah. Patents, trademarks, they're building a strong legal foundation.
Smart move. So they've got the vision, the techs, the business skills, the social conscience, and a plan for growth.
They're ticking all the boxes.
But we've only scratched the surface of what this technology could mean for education.
We have. We've talked about VR, but what about XR? those immersive experiences,
If they can really make that happen.
it could completely change how we learn.
It's like we're at a turning point, a new era of education.
And VREDU is leading the way.
Pushing the boundaries.
It's exciting and a little bit scary.
But as we move to the final part of our deep dive,
Yes, let's get to the big question.
the big one, what does all this mean for traditional classrooms?
Will they become a thing of the past? Or will they adapt and evolve alongside these new technologies?
Find out after the break.
That's the million-dollar question, right? Will classrooms as we know them disappear?
Yeah. If VREDU really pulls this off with these immersive learning experiences, will those old school buildings just become a memory?
Well, it's a hot topic in the education world. Some people are convinced that VR is going to totally replace traditional classrooms.
Like a complete shift.
Exactly, a total paradigm shift. They see VR as the future of learning because it's so personalized, accessible, and engaging.
They see that.
Imagine students learning at their own pace, really diving deep into subjects through interactive simulations
Cool.
and connecting with people from all over the world.
Yeah, no more geographical limits.
No limits. It's a powerful idea, but I can't help but think about the social side of things. You know, that face-to-face interaction with teachers and classmates.
Yeah, that's important.
And that's where the other side of the argument comes in.
What do they say?
They see VR as a way to enhance traditional classrooms, not replace them.
So VR is a tool.
Exactly. They imagine a blended learning model where VR provides those unique experiences that you just couldn't get in a real classroom.
So it's not about VR versus classrooms.
No.
It's about finding the right mix.
Finding the sweet spot, the right blend of virtual and physical learning, recognizing that different students have different needs and learning styles.
Makes sense.
So some students might do really well in a fully immersive VR environment, while others might need a mix of both virtual and real-world learning.
It's about giving everyone the best chance to succeed.
Exactly. And in this blended model, the role of the teacher changes too.
How so?
Well, in a VR-enhanced classroom, teachers become more like guides or facilitators.
Instead of just standing at the front lecturing.
Yeah, exactly. They're helping students navigate these virtual experiences, encouraging them to think critically, providing individual support.
So teachers are still crucial even in this VR world.
Absolutely. But it requires a different skill set.
Which brings us back to teacher training.
You got it. We need to give teachers the tools and the confidence to use VR effectively in their classrooms.
It's like a whole new way of teaching.
It's both exciting and a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how do we measure what students have learned in a VR environment? What are the ethical implications?
Those are important questions. There are definitely challenges and risks with any new technology, but the potential benefits are huge. VR could make learning more engaging, accessible, and personalized than ever before.
And that's what makes VREDU so interesting. They're not just trying to build a company.
Right.
They're trying to push the boundaries of education itself.
They're making us rethink what learning can be and how technology can help every student reach their full potential.
It's an exciting time to be involved in education.
It really is. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah, let's get back to the big question.
the big one, what does all this mean for those traditional brick-and-mortar classrooms? Will they fade away, or will they find a way to adapt and evolve alongside these incredible new technologies?
Let's explore that further.
It's the big question on everyone's mind, right? What happens to those classrooms?
Yeah, the ones we all grew up with, desks and chalkboards and all that.
Exactly. Will they go the way of the dinosaurs?
Extinct, replaced by virtual reality.
It's a real possibility. You know, some experts think so.
Really?
They believe VR is just that powerful, that it can offer everything a traditional classroom can and more.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Personalized learning tailored to each student's pace and style.
Okay.
Access to learning resources from anywhere in the world.
No more limitations.
Exactly. And then there's the engagement factor. VR can make learning so much more immersive and fun.
That's true. It's hard to compete with exploring ancient Rome in VR.
Exactly. So they argue that eventually VR will just become the standard way to learn.
And classrooms will be a thing of the past.
Like museums, almost nostalgic relics of a bygone era.
It's an interesting thought. But I don't know, I still feel like there's something special about that in-person connection.
You mean with teachers and other students?
Yeah, that social aspect of learning.
I get it. And that's actually a key argument for the other side of the debate.
So there's another side.
There is. They see VR as a tool to enhance traditional classrooms, not replace them.
So VR as a supplement.
Exactly. A way to add another dimension to the learning experience.
I like that. It's like VR becomes this amazing field trip that every student can go on.
Exactly. Imagine taking a virtual tour of a human body or traveling through time to witness historical events.
It would make learning so much more vivid and memorable.
And that's the key, right? It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about finding the right balance.
A blend of VR and traditional teaching methods.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that different students thrive in different environments and providing them with the best of both worlds.
So some students might spend most of their time in VR,
Immersed in these virtual worlds,
while others might benefit from a more traditional classroom setting.
with VR sprinkled in as needed.
It's all about creating a flexible and personalized learning experience.
Exactly. And in this blended model, the role of the teacher also becomes much more dynamic.
Oh, how so?
Well, instead of being the sole source of information, teachers become more like guides or facilitators.
Helping students navigate this new world of learning.
Exactly. They're there to provide support, answer questions, encourage critical thinking, and help students make connections between the virtual and the real world.
It sounds like a challenging but rewarding role.
It is. It requires teachers to be adaptable, tech-savvy, and really in tune with their students' needs.
It's almost like a whole new profession is emerging.
In a way, it is. And that brings us to the question of teacher training. How do we equip educators with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in this new landscape?
It's a big question. There's so much to consider.
There is, and it's not just about learning how to use the technology.
It's about developing new pedagogical approaches.
Exactly. How do you assess learning in a VR environment? How do you foster collaboration and communication among students who might be scattered across different virtual spaces?
And how do you ensure that VR enhances learning rather than distracting from it?
These are all important questions, and they highlight the fact that we're still in the early stages of exploring the potential of VR in education.
It's exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
It is, but I think that's what makes this whole journey so fascinating.
It's like we're on the cusp of a major transformation in how we learn.
And VREBU is right there at the forefront, pushing the boundaries, challenging us to rethink what's possible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into VREDU and the future of education,
Yeah, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder.
if VREDU succeeds in realizing their vision, if they create these truly immersive and engaging VR experiences,
What will it mean for the future of learning?
will we see a world where traditional classrooms fade away?
Or will we find a way to seamlessly blend the virtual and the real, creating a richer and more dynamic learning experience for everyone?
It's a question that only time will answer, but one thing's for sure. The future of education is going to be anything but boring. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of VREDU. It's been an incredible journey, and we can't wait to see what the future holds.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.